And you'll see that Marco Antonio Barrera, after 14 years in the sport, is still only 29. He'll be 30 January 17, a birthday he shares with Muhammad Ali. Pacquiao is still only 24, half-inch taller. Half-inch advantage in arm length, measured from the armpit to the end of the fist. Pacquiao weighed in a pound under the limit, but has put on 11 pounds unofficially since and weighs 136 tonight. He'll go into the ring as physically the larger man. Rules of the bout with our unofficial ringside scorer, Harold Letterman.
The Marco Antonio Barrera Manny Pacquiao fight is scheduled for 12 rounds using the unified rules of the Association of Boxing Commissions. There is no 3 knockdown rule. Only the referee can stop the fight. In case a cut is caused by an accidental headbutt, we go to the scorecards after 4 rounds have been completed, and you cannot be saved by the bell at any round, including the 12th and final round. Jim.
And here comes Manny Pacquiao, emerging into sight as the crowd here prepares to devote most of its adulation to the Mexican star, Marco Antonio Barrera. Pacquiao has been prepared for what to expect from the crowd and blows kisses as they boo.
He has this impish smile on his face whenever we talk to him personally. Back in the Philippines, he is a star of astounding proportions, up there with an Ali, a Chavez. In their countries, politicians compete to be photographed with him. He has been in movies. He's a pool shark. He needs 6 bodyguards around him and his family. He's an extraordinary character. If he came from Manila, Jim, I'd call him the Thriller from Manila.
Instead, he comes from the island of Mindanao, where there is extreme political strife, and the dark side of Pacquiao's superstardom in the Philippines is, as Larry said, he needs 6 bodyguards. There have been threats against his wife and 2 daughters. There have been kidnap plots and publicized threats against him, and that is one reason Pacquiao is considering, we are told, eventually moving out of the Philippines. Meanwhile, Marco Antonio Barrera faces no such problem in Mexico, where he, like Pacquiao, is an adored national hero.
He is not only an amazing fighter, but he has to be counted now as a medical marvel.
Marco Antonio Barrera's big career stumble came 6 years ago, prior to the surgery, when he twice lost against his nemesis, Junior Jones, a long-armed 1-2 puncher who caught him with jabs and right hands. Since then, he's been more or less impeccable in the ring. The only official loss, February 19, 2000, in that fabulous first fight against Derek Morales. A lot of ringside observers felt that Barrera should have gotten the decision in that one. Some of those same ringside observers felt that Morales should have gotten the decision in the second Barrera-Morales fight, which was won by Marco, and you can expect that somewhere down the road, there may be a third. And now both fighters are in the ring, so let's go up to Michael Buffer for the official introductions.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Alamo Dome, San Antonio, Texas, Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions and Miller Lite, along with HBO Sports, are proud to present 12 rounds of boxing for the Featherweight Championship of the World. Brought to you in association with Murad Muhammad's M&M Sports and sanctioned by the Texas Department of Licensing and Regulation, Chairman Leo Vasquez, Executive Director William Kuntz. The scoring at ringside will be done by 3 judges using the 10-point system. The judges are Rick Crocker, Ray Hawkins, and Gail Van Oy. And when the bell rings, your referee in charge of the action, Lawrence Cole. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, from San Antonio, Texas, deep in the heart of Texas, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing red trimmed with black, his official weight, 125 pounds. In his professional career, he has demonstrated amazing power while compiling an outstanding record of 37 victories, including 28 knockouts, with only 2 defeats and 1 bout even, while capturing a world title, which is not on the line tonight. From General Santos City, Philippines, the challenger, the IBF Super Bantamweight Champion of the World, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing white with black letters and officially weighing 126 pounds. His professional record is an excellent one, consisting of 57 victories, including 40 knockouts with only 3 defeats, and he is recognized by his peers, the fans, and pundits alike as one of the very best pound-for-pound fighters in the world today. Ladies and gentlemen, damas y caballeros, de Ciudad de Mexico, el campeón de la gente, the reigning, defending, universally recognized featherweight champion of the world, the baby-faced assassin, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Manny, Marcos Antonio.
Company with Larry Merchant and Emmanuel Stewart.
I want to have a good, clean fight. Pelea limpia y buena suerte. Good luck. Touch him up.
Barrera says that he sees in Pacquiao his own younger, hungry warrior self. Can he hold off Pacquiao with his skill, or is he going to be forced into a toe-to-toe battle?
And you see the graphic that presages first round action. 9 first round knockouts for Pacquiao, 6 for Barrera. Incidentally, 10,127 in the Alamo Dome for this fight. That's 3 fewer than the 10,130 who saw the promoter Oscar De La Hoya knock out David Kamau June of 1997. Pacquiao reaching with the left hand. Barrera reaches out and goes to the body with both hands.
Jim, I'd like to point out that...
And Lawrence Cole. Lawrence Cole's going to call that a knockdown as he motions Barrera to a neutral corner and applies the count. And already Barrera has knocked Pacquiao down. And Pacquiao saying, why? Why'd you call that a knockdown?
I'm not sure that Cole saw that punch land, and I'm not sure that a punch did land.
We'll have to take a look at a replay to see exactly what happened. I didn't see a heavy punch land. It looked as much like a slip as anything else.
Surprisingly, Barrera is much more aggressive than I expected. Normally when he fights southpaws, he's more of a conservative, laid-back counterpuncher.
Hard left hand to the body by Pacquiao. Barrera seems to have come in here with the idea of fighting fire with fire, Manny.
Yes, he's changing. He's making Pacquiao back, something that Pacquiao was not prepared for.
Barrera takes a couple of hard punches right up the middle as Pacquiao lands a 1-2. Marco seems to want to counter the body when Pacquiao goes upstairs. So Pacquiao comes downstairs and goes to the body to set up the left hand upstairs through the guard.
3 of Barrera's last 5 fights have been with southpaws, which means he should be very comfortable in this fight fighting a southpaw.
Well, he's a great technician with brilliant footwork, but already you see that Pacquiao has a reach advantage. Barrera can't seem to counter back accurately when Pacquiao lands over the top. Now Barrera goes with the body, the left hooks. Pacquiao coming upstairs with a left uppercut. Great action in the first round as Pacquiao tries to establish a statement after the knockdown ruling by Lawrence Cole. Hard right hand to the body by Pacquiao. Barrera with a little left hand counter upstairs. Barrera short with a jab. Pacquiao lands his jab. Reach advantage for the Filipino fighter. Barrera seeming to try to step forward and dial the jab in. Staring at Pacquiao's chest. Left hand counter by Barrera. Now he lands the jab He's closed the distance between the two of them, Emmanuel.
Yes, I'm looking for Pacquiao is trying to find a way to get his straight left hand through the center, but he cannot seem to find the target with Barerra.
When we go to the corners, in Pacquiao's corner, where they might speak Tagalog, our interpreter is Ernie Kalua. In Barrera's corner, where they will speak Spanish, our interpreter is Ray Torres. Good left hand to the body and a left upstairs by Marco Antonio Barrera to punctuate round number 1. A round he has won on the scorecards because of the knockdown ruling by Lawrence Cole. Now we'll look for the replay.
You got to take that, Jorge. Take that. When he comes in and he's going to go underneath, you got to hit him on the top. You throw him on top.
Manny, let's go with the jab, double jab, okay? Yeah. All right, don't let him lead you. Let's back him up with the double jab, you hear me? You put the double jab, left hand, okay? All right?
Now let's see what happened on that knockdown, or was it a knockdown?
A straight left landed by Pacquiao, and when he landed, he twisted his body in an angle where he lost his balance.
It was not a punch.
Definitely not a punch.
Shouldn't have been called a knockdown.
I scored that round 10-9 for Barerra because he got a credit for a knockdown, not the 10-8 that a knockdown usually is.
Yeah, Harold Letterman goes with the 10-8 because it was officially ruled a knockdown. I'm sure that's the point Harold would make. CompuBox numbers in round 1, Barerra 21 out of 59, Pacquiao 15 out of 56. Pacquiao didn't come here expecting to win a decision. Trainer Freddie Roach says, we've got to go in and force Barerra into a war.
Barerra is successfully keeping Pacquiao on the end of that hard jab so far. He's not letting Pacquiao get inside where he can let loose his perhaps faster fists.
Barerra is right now using the jab very effectively, trying to get his range, and I think he's going to shoot the jab at a slow speed and then counter with a fast right hand whenever Pacquiao gets past the jab. But he's using the jab now as pretty much to keep him preoccupied.
Barerra has also begun to block more of Pacquiao's punches upstairs with his gloves. So Barerra making a key tactical move midway through the first round when he stepped forward one step to get into range to land his jab, and since that time he's been tactically in control.
Tactically in control with the jab, but Pacquiao is trying to take control. Is this going to be a good fight? Because neither guy is going to accept the other guy controlling the fight.
Pacquiao has been getting his left hand in just like there. He's had 4 or 5 of them, 6 in the last 30 seconds.
Pacquiao strafing Barerra now with 1-2 combinations upstairs, landing his jab and landing 3 left hands behind the jab in that sequence.
And Pacquiao seems to be getting his rhythm going now. Barrera's taking his time, bidding his time, but he's got to get back to using that left jab a lot more. Because if he doesn't, Pacquiao's going to get that rhythm back again and eventually start putting something that's going to get through the gloves eventually.
Even in the middle of all-out wars, Marco Antonio Barrera is an amazingly patient fighter. And they call him, of course, the baby-faced assassin. It'd probably be better to call him the poker-faced assassin. He never shows emotion in the ring. Big combination by Barrera as he catches Pacquiao coming in. Manny comes back with body shots of his own. Hard body shots from Pacquiao.
And at this stage, the clear punches for the most part of this round are still being landed by Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao has come out with a determined rally in round 2, trying to get back up on the scorecards after that strange knockdown ruling in round number 1.
Cierra el ojo. 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 Cierra el ojo.
Jab. Yeah. And be first with this guy. You hear me? Yeah. Do not wait on him. All right? You get too much speed for this man. All right? Boy. Deep breath now. Nice one.
In the second round, by CompuBox count, Manny Pacquiao threw 100 punches and landed 31 out of 63 power shots. So he used a lot of energy in that round, Emmanuel.
And I thought that Barerra was having real trouble dealing with that straight left hand.
And with Pacquiao's hand speed.
Well, I think the speed and the rhythm that Pacquiao is using now is beginning to bother Barerra a little bit.
Barerra with a little swelling around the left eye. Perhaps the product of Pacquiao's long right jab. Hard left hand. Straight on the button by Pacquiao. Down goes Barerra. He's been knocked down 3 times in his career.
There was that
Never this early in a fight.
There was that left hand again. He doesn't see it coming, or he just can't cope with its speed.
Well, Pacquiao's got a little rhythm. He doesn't just come straight in. He goes a little kind of semi-Mike Tyson in and out, side to side, and then he shoots the right hand straight through the center.
There are probably some in this arena who didn't really know who Manny Pacquiao was or what his chances might be against Antonio Barrera. Now they know as Pacquiao tries to go ahead and finish Barrera right here in the third round. Manny's getting reckless and Barrera takes advantage. What a fight.
Is Barrera prepared to fight this kind of fight at this stage of his career?
He hadn't had one since February 2000. Not like this. Pacquiao is strafing Barrera with left hands. Marco's hanging in now. He's tasted the power, but Manny's having another big round.
He has a great round. I don't know if Barrera's going to survive it, but if he does, can survive this round, and Pacquiao runs out of gas a few rounds later, Pacquiao's going to be in trouble. But if this stays right here, everything is great for Pacquiao. Just stays right here.
Pacquiao coming right through the right hand counter. Landed another big left hand. A wobbly Barrera trying to fend him off. That's the most desperate look I've ever seen on Marco Antonio's face.
And Barrera's always been the most vulnerable when he shoots his jab, because he jabs and he pushes it out and leaves a gap straight through the center to get hit with a straight left.
If there's a weakness in Manny Pacquiao's arsenal, it's a tendency to become over-aggressive when he has his man on the defensive. Both of his losses early in his career, knockout losses against lesser fighters who caught him when he was going after them.
He's starting to slow down right now, but Barrera's still looking so slow and lethargic. He's not able to even take advantage of the reduction in speed that Pacquiao is showing.
If it weren't for Cole's knockdown ruling in the first round, Barrera may have been down 3 rounds to none at this point, and with a knockdown point for Pacquiao.
Okay, you don't have to slug it out. You don't have to fight with him. Box him. They threw in his load. He shot his load, so it's your turn now. Okay, he's empty now. He shot his load.
Straight left through the center. Perfect punch. It's what Pacquiao's been trying to do all night long, and he finally landed it.
Right on the jaw. You're watching, just as Barrera said, he can see himself in Pacquiao, a young, hungry, ambitious little warrior.
A super aggressive fighter. Pacquiao, who had thrown 100 punches in the second round, threw 85 in the third round, landing 34, including 29 power shots. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, Jim. 2-1, 28-27. Manny Pacquiao. On Larry's call of the non-knockdown in the first round, if the referee rules it a knockdown, you got to go 10-8, unless the opponent who got knocked down comes back with a strong rally, at which point it will become 10-9.
I know that's the rule, Harold, but I also think we ought to use common sense, and that if we have the advantage of seeing the replay we ought to apply some common sense.
Yeah, but Harold's trying to do it the way the official judges would do it, Larry,
Right.
which means without the benefit of television replay.
Well, that's where Harold and I sometimes agree to disagree.
Yes, but that means that you're not scoring like an official judge.
Pacquiao seems to have gotten his rhythm back together again. And Barrera seems to just still look a little too slow. Even when he's punching, he doesn't seem to have the speed that he once had.
Well, compared to Pacquiao, he doesn't.
Yeah, the very first round when he came out, Barrera seemingly had speed, but after getting hit with that straight left, seemingly not only has he slowed down a little bit, but seemed like he's maybe a little too cautious even at this stage.
Barrera's going to have to find a way to use Pacquiao's superior speed and aggression against him. Barrera's going to have to counter to victory tonight if he's going to be able to win.
At this stage, Barrera still looks like he's very vulnerable for that straight left through the center.
And more protective than we've ever seen him, as he's now definitely trying to stay away and not always able to do it. Now Barrera counters back and momentarily stuns Pacquiao with a 1-2. Pacquiao comes back, misses with the right, barely glances with the left. Hard left hand lands for Pacquiao.
Barrera seems to have almost conceded to Pacquiao that he can't stand and go toe-to-toe because of Pacquiao's fast hands. And now he's just trying to beat him with his boxing ability.
He's going to have to find angles.
I agree with you. It seems like he's conceded. And Pacquiao's got that little rhythm that still is bothering him. And he punches off of that rhythm.
Good uppercut by Barrera. They touch gloves. Freddie Roach, Pacquiao's trainer, said, don't start touching gloves with Marco Antonio Barrera. Don't go in there and treat him like the nice guy and the gentleman that he is. Roach wants Pacquiao to disrespect Barrera, and so far he's done it.
He's doing a great job of it, too. And every time that Barrera jabs, he draws his right hand to his right side of his head, which means he's very, very vulnerable for straight left.
Barrera getting 3 chances to counter with the left hook, but taking a lot of leather to do it. Barrera's left eye is now starting to swell badly. Manny Pacquiao smiling as he continues to strafe Barrera from range.
Come on, give me that thing. Put that thing here. A small one here. Put it anyway. Don't worry about it. All right.
Just one more. Surprise him.
Got it. Relax. All right, Manny. Here. More water, Justin.
Well, come on, I need you to concentrate. Box him. Just wait for him on the outside. Don't struggle with him. Just wait for him. The right hand. The right hand. That's over his left. With the
Manny, I don't see an end swell in Barrera's corner, and that left eye is starting to puff up.
No, I don't think they were prepared for this type of a fight to begin with. And Pacquiao seems like he's got his confidence, and he's meeting Barrera with fury face to face. Whenever Barrera tries to challenge him back, he's not giving in. And Barrera just cannot figure his movements out.
CompuBox numbers in the 4th round again favored Pacquiao, particularly the 18-7 edge in power connects. It's been a power punching festival for Manny Pacquiao in the first 4 rounds. Quicker than Barrera, longer than Barrera, more aggressive than Barrera, landing harder than Barrera. Marco hoping that Pacquiao will run out of gas a little bit as he moves and buys time. Barrera's training for the fight was temporarily interrupted when the little town of Big Bear in the mountains of California was surrounded by fire and he had to vacate the training camp. Came here to San Antonio 2 weeks earlier than he might have expected. Pacquiao trains right in Hollywood, right amid all the movie stars at Vine and Santa Monica. Hard right hand by Pacquiao. Barrera just trying to stay away. Left hand lands for Pacquiao in that combination. Break! No need for Manny to get reckless now. He's winning every round.
It looks like, I don't know, Barrera may have a bad cut on his left cheek.
It's either a cut or a mark of some sort.
It is not dripping blood.
No. It's probably a mark of some type. But Pacquiao...
Another hard left hand for Pacquiao, who's getting a chance to target it.
Pacquiao shooting nothing but straight shots directly through that gap in the center of the round. Not shooting so much hooks, mainly just through the center.
Even though Marco Antonio Barrera is only 29 years old, he's been a fighting professional for 50 years, or 15 years, I should say. And there are moments here when Pacquiao has made him look older than his years.
Yes, he has. It looks like he's been fighting maybe about 20 years and started professional when he was 30.
But Barrera knew that Pacquiao would be bouncy, with energy, live, vibrant in there. Barrera knew exactly what Pacquiao wanted to do. He hadn't been able to do enough about it so far. Marco backing Pacquiao off with a counter right. Pace slows in round 5. That helps Barrera.
It's hard to overstate how big a victory would be for Pacquiao in the Philippines. This fight there is perceived as Ali Frazier won. It would a victory would validate Pacquiao as their greatest sports hero of modern times.
Well, not to mention, boxing fans love punchers. Pacquiao's fighting the kind of fight that millions of fans could fall in love with.
He's fighting with a lot of spirit, too. A lot of spirit.
Keep your guard up. There's nothing wrong. You have nothing. You're okay.
Manny? Listen to me. Manny, right here. Listen to me. I want you to get a little bit busier. Okay? All right? And here. The jab, double hand, left hand behind it, okay? Body and head. Okay, don't reach for it.
Oh, beautiful right cross. It came right back after shooting his left.
Pace slowed in round 5 to something more like Barrera wants, but still, Pacquiao landed 16 out of 42 power shots. Barrera only got 14 of them off. So it appears to be another round that Pacquiao is likely to have won. Barrera hasn't really found any answers since round 1. I'm thinking of something Larry Merchant told me a long time ago, Manny. Younger, stronger, faster, hungrier usually wins.
Yeah, pretty much what Barrera told you also yesterday when you interviewed him. He said that Pacquiao reminds him a lot of himself. And it's really hard to beat a good fighter that has a lot of spirit, a lot of determination.
But let's remember that this is, in a real sense, Barrera's hometown. This is where Julio Cesar Chavez
got it wrong with Pernell Whitaker, right?
Lost 9 of 10 rounds and got a draw out of it.
One of the worst decisions of the last 10 years.
I don't like a lot of those fighters which are the victims, so to say, of bad decisions. I don't think that Pacquiao's going to take off at the last few rounds and ease up at all. I think he's going to fight the same pace and not take a break at the end of the fight.
These are Texas judges here tonight, too. Those are governing body judges who gave Chavez his draw with Whitaker. Pacquiao going to the body effectively. Starting to dominate every area of the fight now. Barrera gets a hard right hand back. Thinks he's hurt Pacquiao. Chases him down a little bit. Manny raises his arms to say, yeah, come on, trade with me. You know I want you to trade with me. Hard left to the body by Pacquiao.
You know, that rally suggests it's a little early to count out a great pro like Barrera. Still got half a fight to go after this.
Well, Barrera's the kind of fighter who can win a fight when he's outgunned, but when he's this much outgunned,
and this kid is fighting with so much speed and so much determination. I don't think he's going to collapse going down the stretch. And Barrera just doesn't seem to have the speed tonight.
crowd comes alive as Barrera
For the moment, Gibbs as good as he takes. Another right hand over the top. This is a round that judges could give to Barrera if they're looking for one to give to Marco. But Pacquiao's body punches set up another knockdown, and Lawrence Cole says it's not a knockdown. Their feet must have been tangled up. I'll tell you what, that was a hard left hand, and there's another one like it.
That looked like more of a knockdown, certainly, than the one in the first round.
No question about it.
Breathe in. Take a deep breath. Let him take a breath before you some water.
All right. All right, Manny. Very nice.
Not yet. I'll put it in.
Okay.
There's no need to get overexcited. We came to win. Throw that left hook to the body, to the liver. That's your best punch. 3 punches, combinations.
Right there, you see he's throwing the combinations after dropping underneath, and Barrera was off balance. But you could call it a knockdown because any blow that lands above the waist that causes a person to go down legally is a knockdown.
Hey, knockdown.
It was more of a knockdown than the first one.
Way more. Power punches in round 6. Pacquiao landed 32 out of 67. That's his high number for the fight. Harold Letterman, have you found any round since the first to give to Barrera?
No, Jim. 5 rounds to 1. 58, 54, Manny Pacquiao. Jim, on a knockdown, Marco Antonio Barrera hit the wet spot. You know where it's painted over there. His legs clearly came out from under him. I got to agree with Lawrence Cole. It was a slip. Other than that, Pacquiao, too aggressive, landing the harder shots.
Question. If he hit the wet spot, and that's why he went down, why didn't they stop the fight and wipe the wet spot?
Well, before the fight, they tried, without question, to wipe that wet spot. They were using paper towels, then they used the towel. It gets wet from sweat, there's no question.
Round 7 begins the way all the other rounds have begun, with Pacquiao firing combinations and landing them. And he backs Barrera into the ropes and hammers him again. And now there's a big cut on Barrera's left eye, and he's claiming that he was butted. And Pacquiao's grin is getting bigger.
There is blood dripping.
Accidental headbutt. Come here. No.
And you hear Lawrence Cole saying accidental headbutt, and it is a big cut. Barrera's been cut many times before. That's a bad one, although it's small. And frankly, you know, if he chooses to stop, they go to the scorecards and he loses. So he's got no real competitive choice other than to keep going under any circumstance.
It's not really his choice. If he chooses not to fight, then the fight's over. And it's
every indication is that he doesn't want to fight anymore. Even though I feel that the cut, even though it's bad, it probably could be stopped. But I don't think he wants to fight anymore.
Let's go.
He should be talking.
All right. You got your mouthpiece? Your mouthpiece here. Time in.
Barrera seemed to be asking for a DQ against Pacquiao, but Cole had already ruled it an accidental butt. Marco's in a lot of pain, as he showed you. His corner was asking for the left hook to the body. I don't know to make that much difference now, Manny.
No, I think this stage here, I think the momentum is definitely with Pacquiao, and I don't think it's going to change neither.
Barrera wincing, the blood dripping into the corner of his eye.
And Pacquiao still determined not to let him take control over this fight. Even when he throws back, he's determined to come right back.
Barrera desperately trying to land a punch that could stave off this little avalanche coming at him.
Perfect word. It's been an avalanche. The irresistible force of Manny Pacquiao.
Now the right jab is coming
Good uppercut by Barrera. Left hand counter. Stunned Pacquiao. Barrera backs him into the ropes. Again, Pacquiao raises his arms and says, trade with me, come on. But that exchange belonged to Barrera.
The exchange definitely belongs to Barrera. But the spirit and the momentum of the fight is definitely Pacquiao.
Pacquiao intentionally, and you saw it. He went right at him with his head. Referee Lawrence Cole properly warning Barrera about that. Rough night.
Will Barrera ask his corner to stop the fight?
It's interesting. The blood seemed to have coagulated on his own.
There's nothing. Okay, you're right. There's nothing. Don't permit him to start the fight. You gotta win. Come on, lift it up. You gotta pick up the speed. Pick up the speed. Don't throw on the underneath. Throw on the top.
Right here, you see Pacquiao shooting it straight left, and while he's finishing up here, his head accidentally bangs in. I mean, it is something that was definitely an accident. But I think the fact that Barrera is uncomfortable with the way the fight is going, he wanted to use as an excuse possible to have the fight terminated.
And there was Barrera's butt attempt against Pacquiao. When I said the cut was bad, I was referring to the location. But as Manny pointed out, amazingly, it seemed to stop bleeding on its own during the course of that 7th round. Now we go to the 8th. Time running out on Marco Antonio Barrera, who hasn't won enough rounds to really be in the fight and hasn't shown enough power versus Pacquiao to turn this thing around. It's going to be a slugfest from here on in. Barrera understands he can't box for a minute anymore. He's not going to try to box him. He's going to trade.
He's got no choice, but he's behind on punch. And what's interesting, there's another bad headbutt. But Pacquiao came back so fast that the referee didn't get a chance to really see it.
Marco Antonio Barrera taking by far the worst physical beating of his career.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of bad butts, Sean, at the same time. But also the right jab following the left hand is becoming a very effective punch in the fight now for Pacquiao.
There may be a second nick over Barrera's eye.
Yeah, because he got butted again very badly. The angle that they collide seems to always favor Pacquiao landing his head in the right position where Barrera gets the cut.
Pacquiao throwing many more punches as he hammers away at Barrera. Again, Marco has to hope that he'll catch Pacquiao coming in with something big. And he'll try. That right uppercut beginning to be a weapon for Barrera as Pacquiao charges forward.
Pacquiao could be emerging in this fight as the second exciting fighter to come on the scene this year following Mayorga. Perhaps with more skill and not quite as much power in his weight class.
But it brings a lot of spirit too, much like Mayorga. And that's really a quality that is hard to give a fighter. A lot of determination.
Pacquiao also trying to define himself as the greatest fighter ever from the Philippines, outdistancing Jerry Penalosa, Luisito Espinosa, and the great Flash Elordi from decades back. Hard left hand by Barrera. Backs Pacquiao up. Hard right hand by Barrera. Uppercut landed. Didn't manage to really hurt Pacquiao.
Yeah, he's trying to come on, but it's going to be very difficult.
Promoter Oscar De La Hoya. He is Barrera's promoter, so the look of concern has to do with the jeopardy in which Barrera finds himself.
Well, he's finding out what being a promoter is like. The fighter he signed and has his first fight with is in serious jeopardy. That's part of the game that he hasn't had to deal with as a young promoter.
The small victory for Oscar tonight. is that his fight against David Kamau drew 3 more fans and ticket buyers than did tonight's fight.
You can see once again the right jab is coming across, being a very effective punch as well as the headbutt. So Pacquiao has beaten Barrera both with punches and with his head.
I got it.
Hard driver Manny Pacquiao comes forward at every moment. They touch gloves to begin the ninth. Pacquiao giving Barrera momentary breathing space, and Marco takes advantage to drive him into the ropes and try to mount some aggression. Uppercut by Barrera landed sharply to the body. Pacquiao lands a left hand. Barrera counters back with a left and a right. Big punches from Pacquiao, and again the power deficit shows as Barrera just backs up, taking those shots.
Barrera's going to have to try to let it all hang out, because right now he cannot time the rhythm and the movement of Pacquiao. The punches, and Pacquiao is smart. He's not really throwing hard punches now. He's throwing volumes of punches, just enough to keep him busy and to try to do more damage to that cut.
Doesn't it appear, though, that the likely effect of Barrera opening up is that he's going to risk getting knocked out by Pacquiao?
Yeah, but I don't think he has a choice. I mean, this is a case where I can safely coach to losing a decision. I can gamble and let it all go out for a knockout. In that case, I would try to go all out for a knockout, because he can't handle the speed of the movement of this guy. So in that case, you just have to go for your power.
Pacquiao showing tremendous stamina. Doesn't seem to want to slow down at all. And now Dickie Cole is going to warn Manny Pacquiao.
Neutral corner. Time! -1, -1, -1, -1, all right?
-1 against Barrera.
I think because Barrera hit him maybe on the break. He's just out of his frustration.
Well, I think it was a quick little headbutt, and it was out of his frustration.
Either the headbutt or hitting on the break, either way. The -1 means nothing to Barrera now. -40 wouldn't hurt him. He can't win a decision.
Pacquiao's really finding a home for that straight left and that right jab over the shoulder.
Does Barrera have the magic to overturn 9 rounds of a beating?
I don't believe so, because he's never in the past been known as a devastating one-punch knockout guy. He systematically dismantles his guys, but never just a one-punch fighter.
Right.
So I don't think that's going to happen.
Left hand to the body weakens opponents. He hasn't landed that left hand to the body enough to weaken any of Manny Pacquiao's assault.
And when he does punch, he's not punching seemingly with the confidence that he has shown in the past.
Big left hand again by Pacquiao. Barrera having trouble seeing out of his left eye. Barrera talking to the referee and saying, what about him? Pacquiao just hammering him. Just hammering him. Right and left.
Barrera's mouthpiece is not to push that out, and that's not normal for an experienced veteran fighter.
All right, sit down. Close your eye. Close your eye. Let me work on it. Close the eye. There's nothing wrong.
Deep breath. Okay, here. Manny, I want you to set down with some power shots now. You hear me? Yeah. Okay? Yeah. All right? Manny, you set it up behind the jab. All right, and send the power left hand up. Now,
here you hear Pacquiao's putting together punches right now. Not necessarily a hard punch, just a fuselage of punches coming from all angles. And that's what you should do when you have a fighter tired like this.
Right, and
that's exactly what I thought it was.
You know, threw 100 punches in the first round, and he's still at that high level That is another definition of youth.
Well, he landed 33 power punches by CompuBox count in the 9th round. That's his biggest output of the fight so far. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
Okay, Jim. 8 rounds to 1, 88-80. Manny Pacquiao just too aggressive, landed too many shots, and that's all there is to it. Jim, one quick point. In round 7, Lawrence Cole asked the referee after the headbutt. He asked the doctor, can Marco Antonio Barrera continue? The reason for that is if the doctor said he can continue, he has to continue or he loses by TKO.
More and more, it looks as though Barrera is doomed to just play out the string here.
Yeah, he's just trying to go to distance. It seems like the desire to win or to pull a fight out no longer is in his mind anymore.
Certainly doesn't show here in the 10th round.
No, he doesn't show it. He's retreating. He's doing enough to just get by. It seems like he's just about to push his mouthpiece out at times.
Looks like he wants the dubious honor of finishing the fight. Or maybe wants to see if Pacquiao can somehow slow down in the last 2 rounds. Manny has never fought past the 10th.
I don't know if there's a rematch clause in their contract, but off of this, I'm not sure that even if there is, that Barrera would want to fight this little tiger again.
Well, what you have is Manny Pacquiao annihilating a guy who was universally ranked coming in as one of the 5 or 6 best pound-for-pound fighters in the sport.
Larry, that's a good question, but I asked Oscar that at the fighters meeting yesterday because I was concerned because I had a good feeling that what is happening was going to happen tonight, and Oscar did say he did have a rematch clause. But I agree with you. I don't know if Barrera wants to fight him again.
I'm not sure. What would the strategy for the rematch be?
Don't do me any favors like that.
The only possible strategy for the rematch is poison his food.
Yeah. I don't see anything would be any difference if they ever fought a rematch.
Think we're going to get to go to Manila, guys?
Well, I tell you what, as big as he is down there, and after this performance tonight, whatever he demands, we're going to have to consider it to some degree.
Superstar in the making. Manny Pacquiao with a sensational performance so far. Assaulting Marco Antonio Barrera, mugging him, and about to leave him in the gutter with a lopsided loss.
It does seem that the great Barrera has virtually conceded this fight.
Yes.
Okay. All right, Manny. Now, Manny, 2 rounds to go. Tongue out, tongue out. Manny. 2 rounds to go. You hear me? I want you to pick it up on him, okay? Now, Manny, you followed him the whole round. You gotta cut the ring off. You know, okay. Don't follow this man. Yeah. Okay? Yeah. Now here, he's walking right into the hook, right? Yeah. Okay, put the hook left hand together, okay? Hook left hand, now here. Okay. Manny, it's too late for the body right now. Yeah. Let's go to the head. All right? Manny.
Freddie Roach,
left again, right through the center.
Trainer believes that Barrera is ready to be taken out. He's urging Pacquiao to go for it. He doesn't want to leave anything to chance here in San Antonio.
And what I like about this fight, Pacquiao is fighting with the same spirit and determination. He's not coasting. He's not lighting it up like a lot of the fighters have been recently, which has permitted him to be victim of these so-called bad decisions. He's fighting with the same intensity and determination that he fought with in the beginning of the fight.
Yeah, I think if Marco Antonio Barrera is going to make it to the finish line, he's going to have to eat a lot of left hands to do it.
Whenever you fight a good fighter, a great fighter, such as a Muhammad Ali, Evander Holyfield, even a Roy Jones, you have to be prepared for late in the fight that once these guys realize that they're losing, they usually make that desperate move. And you're going to have to keep fighting them back when they make that move. And if you slow down, you lose the fight often. That's why those guys win a lot of close controversial decisions, because they finish up strong.
You have to wonder now whether the rematch, third fight with Eric Morales will ever happen for Barrera?
Right now, it's very hard to see Barrera in any major fight right now after the show.
Yeah, Manny, he's taking a tremendous beating. In fact, my question is, as great as Barrera is, should his corner keep sending him out to take this kind of punishment?
That's a good question. It's not about winning.
I don't know that his pride would permit him not to go to the end.
I can't imagine that it would, but he's going to pay a heavy price in these last 2 rounds unless something changes.
And in addition to the straight left, Pacquiao is now being very effective with that right jab coming right over the shoulder, more like a right cross, really.
Well, and you heard Freddie Roach saying if you can land a right hook and follow it with the left, you're going to knock him out. So Pacquiao is looking for that right hook opportunity. And Barrera's just eating leather.
This is a fight that will shake up the boxing world.
Sure will.
Barrera is one of the highest regarded fighters in the world.
He's an icon.
Been one of the most entertaining fighters in the world. One of the most complete fighters in the world.
One of the most knocked down fighters in the world right at this moment.
Get in the belly and he
Second official knockdown of the fight for Pacquiao. He's right on top of Barrera.
Pacquiao was right there as soon as the referee.
He looked like Dipsy against Jess Willard.
Yeah, well, I think Barrera almost went down from exhaustion.
Yes,
in that occasion.
But officially should have been a knockdown.
But he's taken a lot of left hands.
I had a feeling this was going to happen tonight.
Well, it destroys and embarrasses the great Marco Antonio Barrera.
Yes, he did.
In the last round, Pacquiao landed 33 power shots to only 4 for Barrera, and he'd have landed another 10 or 15 before the end of the round if Barrera's corner hadn't stepped in. Now, here was the first knockdown back in the 3rd round. No, this is the knockdown in this round. Yeah, this is the knockdown where Barrera, as Larry said, went down basically from exhaustion. Here's the stoppage. And the stoppage, once again, prompted not by Lawrence Cole's desire to end the punishment for Barrera, but rather Barrera's corner stepping in from the apron to say, all right, enough.
This is a great performance for Pacquiao. You know, I'm very impressed at the fact that he fought with the intensity throughout the entire fight, and at the end even picked it up.
I think he could have fought 20 rounds tonight.
Yeah, the reports that I got that he was in fantastic shape. He's boxing 10 and 12 rounds, totally focused. Very difficult to fight a guy with skills who are that prepared and focused and determined.
The Filipino assassin who fights with a smile on his face, Manny Pacquiao. Let's hear the official particulars on the TKO from Michael Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, the end comes in round number 11. The official time, 2 minutes, 56 seconds as referee Lawrence Cole calls a halt to the action. The winner and new featherweight champion of the world, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao.
CompuBox numbers, and this will be as one-sided as you've ever seen in a fight that had as much hype and build-up going in. Pacquiao landing 137 more punches, throwing 289 more punches, and landing at a higher connect percentage, 37%. Extraordinary when you consider that the overwhelming bulk of those punches were vicious, high-intensity power shots. 257 out of 570 landed by Pacquiao. Every one of those 257 punches aimed at hurting Marco Antonio Barrera. Barrera landing 156 less as he was overwhelmed by Pacquiao's aggression. And now Larry Merchant stands by with the featherweight champion of the world. Or the former featherweight champion of the world, I should say. First, we're going to hear from Marco Antonio Barrera.
Thank you, Jim. Marco Antonio, yesterday you said to me that you see in Pacquiao yourself when you were 24. Was that what defeated you tonight?
Marcos, ayer nos dijiste que en Pacquiao tú mirabas a un peleador como tú eras cuando tú tenías 24 años. Eso fue lo que te ¿Esto fue lo que te derrotó?
Así fue. No fue eso, simplemente que no fue mi noche, venía mal preparado por los dimes y diretes, por los exámenes, por salirme de la preparación, porque hay que hacer exámenes acá, que estoy malo de la cabeza. Todos los ataques yo creo que me desconcentraron y pues bueno, no fue mi noche.
Not only that, tonight wasn't my night. There was a lot of distractions, the examinations, breaking up the camp, everything. It wasn't my night tonight.
Could you tell very early in the fight that his speed and combativeness was going to give you so much trouble?
¿Podías tú saber que al principio de la pelea que su velocidad y su aguerridad esto te iba a dar mucho problema?
No, sabíamos, no nada más eso, sino su dura pegada, como yo lo dije, pega fuerte. Es un peleador que le echó muchas ganas y pues vino esta noche a ganar.
Yeah, not only those things, but also because he punches a lot hard and because he's a good fighter.
It seemed that for a while in the first part of the fight, you couldn't see his left hand coming. Is that true?
Parecía que en el principio de la pelea tú no podías ver la zurda, la izquierda de él. ¿Eso es verdad?
No podía ver nada, me sentía muy desconcentrado. No me sentía yo mismo, no podía, yo llegaba a mi esquina y decía, no puedo hacer nada, no sé qué está pasando.
I couldn't see a lot of things. I was really not concentrating. I wasn't feeling myself. I don't know what went wrong, but it wasn't me.
You have a rematch clause in your contract, I understand. Will you want to exercise it?
¿Tienes una cláusula de una revancha? ¿Quieres tú otra pelea?
Pues no sé, lo voy a platicar con Oscar de la Hoya. Me siento muy triste, muy delusionado por haberle quedado mal en su promoción. Voy a platicar con él y vamos a ver qué pasa.
I don't know, I have to check it over with my promoter. I feel real disappointed and we'll see what goes on.
Do you think there's any possibility you would consider calling this the end of your career, or do you feel you have to try to redeem yourself either against Pacquiao or Morales or someone else?
¿Piensas tú que considerarías tú que esto puede ser el fin de tu carrera o quieres reivindicarte peleando con Pacquiao o con Morales con otra persona?
Pues quién sabe, lo voy a platicar con mi esquina, con Rudy, mi hermano. Oscar de la Hoya, pues vamos a ver qué viene más adelante.
Yeah, it could be, but I still have to discuss it with Oscar de la Hoya and Rudy Perez and everyone else.
Thank you very much, Marco
Muchas
Antonio.
gracias, muchas gracias.
Jim?
All right, thank you very much. Manny, I'm standing here racking my brain trying to think of a featherweight who might want to face Manny Pacquiao. And I mean, that was an amazing performance. I think he just wiped out the division psychologically.
I was very impressed with his performance. Not only did he win the fight, but he won it big, and he won it bigger and bigger as the fight went on. He never did relent, and he showed a display of everything. He boxed, he punched, he had a little good body movement, a lot of spirit, a lot of determination. I was very impressed.
Yeah, and Marco Antonio Barrera's longtime rival, Eric Morales, has escaped up to 130 now. The guys talked about the absence of any viable reason at this moment for a rematch between Barrera and Pacquiao. Pacquiao is going to be looking hard for people who want to face that kind of devastation. Is Larry ready with the champion? All right, let's go there.
Thank you, Jim. Congratulations, Manny. Did you feel coming into this fight that you could dominate the great Barrera?
Sa simula po lang, alam mo na ba na talagang tatalunin mo to? No, I know. I always put in my mind that I beat Barrera, but it's a hard time. So I did not expect this knockout.
You didn't think that you would be able to stop him?
Yeah. I did not expect I knocked him out in the 11th round. I know in the 3rd round I hit hard and then he stopped. He still stand and fight on me. So I thought the 12th round is finished, but I surprised in the 11th round.
So you thought that when you knocked him down in the 3rd round that you would be able to finish him soon after, but since he came back, you thought it would be a longer fight, tougher fight.
Nung pumaksa siya ng pangatlong round, alam mo na ba na talagang pagbalik mo, kakayanan mo siya all the way? Yeah, so in the 4th round, I know the fight, I style him, I know his style, I can control the fight. So, but I did not expect to knock him out. But okay. I control the fight because I'm too fast them.
Yeah, you were faster than him, especially with your left hand. It seemed he couldn't even see it coming. You knew that right away?
In the training, Barrera knows how to speed in my left hands,
and then I know his style. We study a lot, 2 months. We study his style in 2 months, so I'm not surprised.
When they called that a knockdown in the first round, which didn't seem to be a knockdown to us, were you concerned somehow that you were not getting a fair shake in his, what amounted to his hometown?
Nung dinisag nila na knockdown yung first round, kahit hindi naman talaga knockdown yun, iniisip mo ba na parang hindi pantay ang laban?
Hindi ko iniisip yung pantay ang laban. Basta pag inano ko na concentrate ako sa laban para hindi ako mawala sa focus ko. So continue pa rin yung yung concentration ko sa laban.
He didn't seem that it was unfair, but he really focused his to this fight, and he knew that focusing to the fight is the thing to win.
I understand there is a rematch clause in the contract. Would you fight him again?
May rematch daw yung contract na laban pa ulit?
Yeah, I will fight him anytime, anywhere.
What does this fight mean, in your view, to the people in the Philippines?
Yung laban na to, na kalaban mo si Barerra, ano ba sa tingin mo at ano sa tingin mo nangyayari sa bansa natin?
Sa tingin ko, masaya-masaya yung mga kababayan ko. It look like a fight of Lino Cleves in Tyson. So I know it's our countryman is my countryman is very happy.
Yeah, he thinks that the whole country is celebrating right now. Everybody's happy. It's comparable to Lennox Lewis and Tyson fight, and this is another legend in the making.
So you were a star before this fight. What are you now?
Superstar ka na ba lang ngayon?
Now I'm superstar to the eyes of the people, but in myself I don't want to be higher than before. I will still before down. I will still down before.
He means that he wanted to still be humble as he usually is.
Thank you very much, Manny, for a great fight. Congratulations again. Back to you, Jim.